What's up guys, Kyle here again, and today we're gonna check out the best amp I have ever played. The Mezzabarba MZero Overdrive. Let's do it! Oh, that's magical. Okay guys, hope you're doing great out there today. I know I started this video with a really big claim because you guys know how many amps I've been through, how many amps I own, how many amps I have been fortunate enough to even be in the presence of, because there's a lot of really cool ones out there that most people never even get to experience, let alone own. And yeah, I stand by exactly what I said to begin this video. This is the best amplifier I have ever played. Now, of course, that is 100% subjective, and I know it is. And I guess a more accurate statement would be to say, this is my favorite amp that I've ever played. I like best better, and I'm gonna say it anyways. But yeah, I'm rambling right now because I'm super hyped. I love this thing. This is the MZero Overdrive from Mezzabarba Amplification. And what it is essentially a modified SLO 100. Pierangelo took the SLO 100 and he basically wanted to fix everything that he didn't like about it in the tone department. He added a depth control, he added a feedback control, and he voiced the amplifier with more aggressive upper mids. Now, the SLO 100 is an absolutely iconic amp. I have one. I love it. It sounds amazing. The first time I plugged into it, I finally understood what all the hype was about, okay? But the more I played it, the more I felt like it was lacking something for my ear. Not saying it's lacking anything as an amplifier in general. It's an icon for a reason, but it just didn't quite have the upper mid aggression that I really wanted it to have. I mean, I've been a modded Marshall guy for most of my life. And if I'm not playing modded Marshalls, I'm usually playing PVs, which have kind of their own distinct upper mid aggression thing going on. The SLO 100 just doesn't have that upper mid bite that I look for in an amp that really cuts through and really makes an amp just sound pissed off. This amp changes all of that on the SLO 100. I don't know everything that Pierangelo did to this amp in order to get it there, but I can tell you, it's got the SLO vibe, but it's very much its own thing. A lot of people refer to them as Marshall Donos. And I think that's just the perfect way to refer to it because it does have a lot of the vibes of the SLO 100, but it also has the upper mid aggression, just the rawness of a classic like JMP 2203 cranked. It just combines the best of both worlds, and this amp is super open, it's super punchy. I just absolutely love it. It's my favorite amp that I've ever played, and I'm so happy and excited and lucky to get the opportunity to show this amp to you guys because Mezzabarba sent me this amp all the way from Italy just to make a demo for you guys, so can't express my gratitude to them enough. But I'm gonna shut up and we're gonna play this thing because this thing sounds so good. My voice shouldn't even be in the same building as this thing. I'm gonna turn the boost off. Of course I had the boost on. We're gonna go back over to the regular or the drive channel as I was on the Overdrive channel, and we are going to turn the drive down. We're gonna put all the EQ things back to noon. I'm gonna leave the feedback where it was. This is where I dialed it in, and I will show you, we'll go through the sweep of that feedback so you guys can see how much of a difference that makes on the amp. Now, just like the original Soldano SLO 100, you have to change between channels via a foot switch. I personally would have loved to have seen an extra switch on the front in order to do that, but it almost looks like they ran out of room when they were putting all the extra features in it to begin with, so I understand. But just me personally, I would have loved to have seen that. You've got your boost and your bright switches, much like the crunch channel on an SLO 100. So we're gonna hear how this sounds with everything at noon, and we will dial both channels in for some serious sonic aggression. Real quick, before we do that, if this is your first time here at my channel, what I do is I take incredible high gain amps, overdrives, cabs, pickups, record them with a simple SM57 setup, and I give you guys the unprocessed audio on your end. So if you're into E-standard thrash riffs and guys who love to troll boomers on the internet, you're in the right place. All right, let's dig into this thing and hear how it sounds. As it is now, it's essentially a clean amp. Let's get that drive up to noon. All right, 3 o'clock. getting some breakup there. It's still pretty clean. That's just a really nice overdrive tone. Let's get a little presence on that. Such a nice, like, broken up plexi type of tone. It's just open and natural sounding and feeling. It sounds great. Let's turn that drive back down to 9 o'clock and let's kick the boost on. Still not a ton of gain here. But now, as you push it above noon, it really starts to bring the amp to life. That is just such an incredible sounding tone, guys. I don't even play classic rock type stuff, and I would love to just so I can use that tone. All right, so let's push that drive up even more. Still, it is fairly saturated, but definitely nothing anywhere resembling a modern type of saturation. Let's turn that bright switch on. And that actually almost kicks the EQ into a more modern setting, I guess. It just sounds a little bit more like it has that modern top end presence to it. All right, so let's actually turn the treble down a little. Now, I would describe this amp as a very bright amp, but you can really dial that in or out as you please, because with the feedback, you can get rid of a lot of that top end presence. You can really dial the top end exactly as you see fit, because that negative feedback knob makes a huge difference in the top end chime, and it also makes a difference in the low end, how it reacts and how it feels under the hand. So it's a really useful thing. The negative feedback modification is something a lot of guys did to their SLO 100s back in the day, and I now definitely see why, because you can really fine tune the aggression of the amp with that one single pot. So it's a really nice feature. All right, so you know me, we're gonna boost it because we wanna take this thing to Metal Town. As you can tell, it definitely gets into the high gain range with ease, even on the crunch channel. Let's turn that drive up a little bit, bass up a little bit. It's such a nice balanced tone. For as good as this channel sounds, I think the Overdrive just sounds much better. For what I do anyways, I think it sounds better. So that is the crunch channel of this amp. We're gonna go over to the Overdrive channel and we are going to dial it back in one more time. I'm gonna shut up and we're gonna get there because I'm talking way too much. I love this thing. I really do. Okay guys, so we are now on the Overdrive channel. I've got the Overdrive or the gain down at 1 because this is a very high gain channel. We've got everything else at noon other than the feedback. I'm kind of leaving it in that setting because that's just where the amp sounds the best to me. All right, so it sounds a little goofy like that. Let's turn the overdrive up so we're getting the full signal coming through and it's not sounding like this weird choked out thing. All right, sounds incredible right there. It's a little bit bright on the top end. Let's actually bring that feedback down just a tad. There we go. Now it's a little bit more balanced. Let's get that overdrive up to 3. All right, so there's a noticeable amount of compression that gets added each time you bump that overdrive up. But all you have to do to fix it is just a little EQ adjustment and the amp opens right back up. There's such an incredible amount of articulation in this amp. And it just, there's like this sparkle to it. Like I've said in a couple of my videos, there's a few amps that have this harmonic content sparkle to them that most amps just don't have. And unfortunately, they're usually a higher dollar amp that does it. I don't know if it's in the output transformers or what, certain components. I don't know the tech side. All I know is I know when I hear it, and man, this amp just has it in spades, and it's incredible. So good, so good. Let's turn that overdrive up to noon. Almost tight enough to get away without using a boost for myself, but I also like the clank that a boost adds to the low end of the palm mutes and everything, so we're definitely gonna kick an outboard boost on in this video for sure. There is an onboard boost on the foot switch. Let's engage that. So overall, it just seems to boost the volume and maybe the top end a little bit. It definitely doesn't tighten the amp up in any way, so I'm guessing it's kind of like a clean or a slightly EQ'd volume boost only. Let's kick my favorite in, the Duality. Let's turn that overdrive back down to 4, and let's see how that sounds. Incredible, guys. There's just so much bite and cut to it without it being overly harsh. Let's turn the treble down just a tad and the feedback up. It's just so good. It's so good. I love it so much. Bring that feedback down just a tad. This amp sounds incredible, guys. I'm gonna play like one more riff. I'll grab my drop C guitar and we'll call it a day. But yeah, man, this amp just sounds killer. Okay guys, last but not least, we're gonna see how this amp performs in a lower tuning. I've got my Schecter E1 Apocalypse with the Apocalypse pickups. All right, so it's very tight. It's definitely got like a guttural growl thing going on. Let's turn the mids and the bass up a little bit. It's super punchy the way that it is. It sounds really good. All right. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for me today. What did you think of this thing? You guys think I'm out of my mind saying this is the best amp I've ever played, or does it sound amazing on your end too? I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. This thing is definitely going to be staying with me, and it's going to be worked into my regular rotation towards the top very heavily. I absolutely love it. Really curious to know your guys' thoughts. Leave your comments down below and I'll meet you down there and we'll chat about it. Again, if you like the video, consider hitting the like button and subscribing so you don't miss the next one, because I've always got awesome amps coming through here all the time. Really glad you stopped by to check out the video. Kyle here again. We'll see you guys next time.